All right, I have to make this video because this is one thing that a lot of people mess up, and that is doing hard shit, that ain't enough, okay? And here's that philosophy or the thought behind it that messes a lot of people up, as we hear it time and time again, okay? You gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? You gotta do hard shit, okay? Many of the reasons why that fails for so many is that they don't translate that to other areas of their life, or they are really good at doing hard shit when it comes to physical fitness, but not doing hard shit in other areas of their life, which is the whole purpose of doing the hard shit, is to show yourself and to teach yourself that you in fact can do hard shit. But that does not just transfer over to other areas of life. You have to force that transfer over with the mindset that we keep and also the reflection on the hard shit that you did do. And that is why it is not beneficial to just always go around doing hard shit, doing hard shit, doing hard shit, doing hard shit, if you're not taking that mindset and the lessons that you learned during that and applying it to other areas of life. And what do I mean by this, okay? Let's think about these things and unpack it just a little bit here, okay? The same people, and I used to be one of them, okay, that's, talk about doing hard shit, will also be the people that complain when shit gets tough, right? Maybe they do hard shit inside of the workout, but then when it comes to the day-to-day quote unquote grind, or getting up early, or making those extra phone calls, or putting in the extra effort, or doing that project and then having to redo it, or maybe someone forgot to tell you about a project, now you have a tight deadline and you have to get shit done and you feel overwhelmed and underprepared, okay. Well, those are those moments that you should rely on those processes and experiences of doing hard shit and remind yourself that you can in fact do it. But most people don't. They bitch, they moan, they complain. Like I said, I used to be one of those people, okay? Now let's think about doing hard shit, One of the things that we can do is put ourselves in bad situations on purpose, okay? Because if we know that situations are never going to be ideal and things are never going to be perfect, then why would we always try to train and prepare ourselves during a perfect situation? Because that is setting ourselves up for long-term failure, because again, we already just agreed that the likelihood of it being perfect is slim to none. So while we shouldn't always put ourselves in bad situations, something that we can do to prepare ourselves for that is put ourselves in bad situations intentionally. One of the best quotes that I read, or little stories I should say, is that I was sitting at a doctor's office, dentist's office, some sort of office, doesn't matter. And I read about the coach of Michael Phelps, okay? And this coach, and I forgot his name, I think Coach Bauman or something, would, purposely mess with Michael, where he would cause little leaks in his goggles, okay? So when he dove in and would start swimming, goggles would fill up with water and he would have to overcome those things. Okay, he would do things, to make the training harder and inconvenient and frustrating, okay, on Michael. That way, no matter what happened during race day or when it mattered most, he would know that he was prepared for less than ideal or less than perfect situations and could go out and not be rattled by those things. Okay, so what is that for our life? All right, well, this morning, before doing my, conditioning on the bike, okay, I made sure that I did an additional 50 minutes of conditioning beforehand. I was under-fueled because I went in fasted on purpose, because in a race, of course I'm going to be fueled. But what can I do when I'm already fatigued, I'm already tired, and I'm under-fueled? How bad do I really want it? Okay, start pushing yourself through that pain and that discomfort now, okay? Now, the other piece where people mess up the doing hard shit is that hard is relative, okay? And what I mean by that is it is relative to the individual, okay? No one pops out of the womb, running a marathon or, lifting 405, back squat, whatever the case may be. It's all relative, okay? So what does that mean? Is that our hard today should not be the same hard as tomorrow, or a week from now, or a month from now, or a year from now. But where people fall into the trap is that they do what they deem as hard now, and then they hang their hat on it. Or they do what other people deem as hard, and they hang their hat on it. And they never push themselves or, take that hardness to the next level, okay? What do I mean by this? Maybe someone goes out and they run their first half marathon and they're like, oh shit, that's super hard. Which, yes, the first time I ran a half marathon, I could barely walk the next couple days, all right? And that's where they stop though. And they think, oh, I can do hard shit. I've done hard shit. Okay, but what now? That was yesterday. That was last week. That was last year. That should no longer be hard for you because you've already accomplished that. So if you're going to do hard things, you have to push yourself and elevate those things. Now, does that mean that you have to go out and run a marathon to be hard? Not necessarily. But maybe you run that half marathon harder, right? Maybe you give more of an effort. We have to always be conscious of the fact that hard is relative and we need to ratchet those things up, okay? And that's also why I'm not a big proponent of, going out and doing hard event after hard event after hard event after hard event. Because if we are not, consistently, again, tying it back to our day-to-day lives, well, what's the real big point, right? Because it's easy to do hard things in a workout. Because what? It's 30 minutes, it's an hour, it's maybe 4 hours. Shit, it might be a day, okay? But what does that look when, you're going after a big goal, you want to build your career, where it's going to take years and years and years to accomplish what it is that you want. Okay, you have to start building that mindset now. And again, remembering day in and day out that you can do hard things. Now, the last thing that I will leave you with here, okay, is everybody likes the story of overcoming, right? Whether it's the underdog story or, when you've gone through something tough or you've overcome like a challenge or an obstacle, all right, you talk a lot about it. You take a lot of pride in it, right? It adds to the story, right? You're excited about those things when it is done. So don't complain about them when they're happening, right? And what I mean by that is people look at what they don't have. They look at the disadvantages. They complain about those things now, how tired they are, all these things. But yet, okay, again, these are the same people that then want to, talk about how much they've overcome. You can't have it both ways, all right? That is where we got to control our mindset and understand when we're in those challenging situations and those tough scenarios, all right, this is ultimately what's going to build my confidence. This is ultimately going to be another great part of my story. This is challenging me, but it won't break me, okay? You have to be willing to do those things and put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. To me, that's what it really means. Not just in a workout. Shit, about anybody can do that. But how do you do that day in and day out? Like when I bought my first, I rented my first little apartment and I wanted to live out by myself so bad. I couldn't afford the electric or the heat for the place. So I would sleep all winter long in multiple layers, sweatshirts, sweatpants, coats, whatever I had to do to just keep the house warm enough so the pipes wouldn't freeze. Looking back at that, people might be like, well, that's really stupid. For me, I thought it was fun. I choose to look at it as a challenge of something that's going to be a great part of my story down the road. Not complain about it, but be excited about it, okay? So how do you do that? How do you control your mindset that way to think about those challenges as like you overcoming it? And it might sound really dumb, but one of the things that I do is I truly view myself as the hero in my own story. I have like a little montage of music at times in the background, with like the Rocky sound going on, whatever I have to do to pump myself up, thinking about, fuck yeah, I'm doing things that other people won't do, can't do, or, don't have, the mindset to follow through on. And I am working through this struggle. I am working through this discomfort because I know on the other side, it is building me into a stronger, better version of myself. So, to wrap it all up, that's why I think just doing hard shit isn't enough. Because if you just do hard shit and you go from hard shit to hard shit to hard shit, and you don't appreciate what you learn along the process, and you don't force what you learn along the process to other areas of your life, then it's fucking worthless, okay? And if you don't constantly up your game of what hard shit is, well, then it's really not that hard, okay? So you're not doing it. And also, and final, don't complain about doing hard shit then. Again, if you know all of these things and you believe all these things, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, doing hard shit, pushing yourself, all these things, well, then you can't be the individual that also complains about it when shit does get tough. Instead, hunker in, get excited for the opportunity, challenge yourself, look at it like a game, be the hero of your own story, and go out and build your life.